Alrighty, now in this video I want to cover basic optimization and kind of some things you can do to help reduce the overall poly count that your model is going to have. So here I have my low poly. It's not done, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of work through most of the completed parts and record it as I go with some basic explanations. Now I'm not going to do every single thing on camera, well, while recording. I'm going to do, for example, I'll do like 80%, 90 roughly, maybe a little less of the lower, move on to a different part, do a little bit, move on to a different part, do a little bit, and just kind of show you as I'm working through it. And then we'll compare the current triangle count to the new triangle count. Because, again, if you watch my triangulation video, even though this is made up of pretty much all quads, there are still actually triangles. Like this face right here, this is technically two faces. It's two triangles to make this quad. So that's how we're going to work through this video. So I already have duplicated all of the parts. I have my low poly, which is just literally these. And as we do it, we're going to move into the optimized, and then we're going to compare the low to the optimized and just see the result. So to begin, I'm going to go ahead and hide everything except for the lower receiver, because this is where I'm going to go ahead and actually start. So looking at the lower receiver, I can see here that this is all one flat face, or one flat plane kind of area, so we can really clean up a lot of this. And these here for the fire selector are all separate parts, so we don't need to have them visible for the time being. So I'm going to go ahead and just hide things that might be interfering. So that'll pretty much just be, whoops, these guys here. Yeah, and you as well. Okay, so to begin, what we're going to do is we're going to, pretty much what our goal is to merge vertices where it's not going to affect shading or hurt the overall shape of our mesh. So because this is flat, we don't have to really worry about shading. It's not going to be a big deal. So I could take, like, for example, I could take all of these. Why can't I? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong key. Not you. And merge them like this. And we got a slate pinching issue, and that's because of something down here. So I'm going to deselect down here. As you can see, there's not, unless my eyes are just being blind, there's not really much of a shading issue. There is right here. So we can deselect two. Yeah, I'll just go and do it like that from the bottom. And as you can see, there's not really, well, there's no shading difference because it's a flat surface. But we're able to merge all these to a single point. Now we're not going to merge them like this because that looks horrific. So I can do it a little bit cleaner. But we went from 5,078 triangles down to 4,990 just from that one simple merge. So let's go ahead and start. So I can take these guys and merge them over to the left, kind of like so. And it's not going to affect anything, so I'm just going to bring them all over. And eventually we will merge them up as well, wherever they're flat. But that's where I want to stop here, because if I take this guy and merge it over, it affects the shape, so we leave it. I just realized I did some ugly work right here that I might have to fix later on. So now let's continue. We can take these and kind of merge them over. We can just take, like, wherever we want to merge them to. So I want to merge them to, oh, I'll say, I'll have one set. So I'll have the left get merged to here. These get merged to here. And then we'll just continue over. So we'll have a couple different sets. So I'm going to take, for now, I'll take this row, merge it left. And the way I'm doing this is I have a my quick favorites. I have merge at last set, so whenever I press Q, I can merge it to that last. If you don't have that, you can press F3, search for merge at last, and just add that to your favorites by right-clicking on it. So here's our shape. I want to see and make sure that last one didn't really affect any shading, and it doesn't seem to be. So then I want to merge these to the right. So I can select both and go over. Now that does affect shading, so I'm going to go up a level and just do them like that. Okay, and then we're going to have our next set, which I want to move all the way to the right, because this is just a straight edge. It's not really going to matter. So I'm going to take these and go all the way to the right, like so. And here we have another edge loop, which can be merged either direction. It can be merged up there like that, it can be merged back here like that. It's not really going to matter. Just whichever direction you go with, try to keep it consistent. Alrighty. And we have this edge loop here, which serves no purpose, so we're going to move that over as well. Or better yet, we can actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. Probably just take it and dissolve it. Like so. And there we go. And I'll just take this guy, merge it over, and merge it over. Okay, so we've cleaned that up a decent bit. This guy kind of serves a purpose, but it's not really necessary until it gets up there. What does that control? Okay, so that is linked. I couldn't remember if this was a separate part or not. It's obviously not. So I'm going to take these and just, because I want to keep it up there, I'm just going to merge them over again and leave the top. Like so. So now let's go ahead and work on this loop here. And then when we come over to the other side, I'm pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing to clean up the opposite side. So let's see. I'll do it here. I'll kind of bring them over to the right. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. I can just move them over 3 at a time. Like so. And that's cut out a good bit of geometry. Now we have a ton right here that we can get rid of. So I kind of want to actually take these, like these two loops here, and merge them up, because ultimately they're not really needed. And same actually goes for about here. Yeah, so we're going to start from here and merge up. So we're just literally going to go straight up. So I'm going to take these, go straight up. Better yet, I'll start one from the very last one and go straight up. Now this is going to have some issues because I'm on a curve. So that's where I'm going to leave these so it keeps that sharp edge. And then at the very end, I probably won't actually bother doing it in this video because there is some small things that I want to tweak anyhow. Wait before trying to clean these areas up, because these can be a little bit more difficult because the curve, like it's easy to, not have shading issues on a flat surface. But when you have a curve and you start trying to move stuff around, merge them, that's where you have some issues. Kind of like you can see I already have some shading issues here, and on the other side and stuff like that. And I haven't even worked on them. But you will probably end up with some issues that are quite difficult to fix. So it just kind of depends on your situation. So I'm just kind of going back through and seeing if what I do causes any issues in the shading, which it has not. So I'm going to merge them up. Make sure I don't go down too far. And that broke the shading. Let's try that. Like so. And then we can bring all these up, because a lot of these we do not need at all. This is a completely flat surface, so we can take a lot of geometry out of this. So we're going to take here, merge it up, and same thing, just keep merging it up. Oops. And we can take these all the way up. I don't know why I didn't start doing that in the first place. The top. We're going to have to clean these up too, so go ahead and move them up like so. And continue merging up. Wrong guy. Like so. And that is a lot cleaner. And then we can merge these over as well. I'm going to take them, merge them all over. Don't select the wrong ones. Same thing down here. Like so. So now I can probably actually take these edge loops and merge them down without affecting, no, because those are, can't tell if there's a slight curve there or not. Okay. So I'm pretty much going to continue to do this all the way around. So I've done it for the back half, and now I also have all of this that I can merge over to the outsides as well, because it's straight across. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to merge them out, because we can get rid of a ton up through here, because quite frankly it's not needed. It's not going to be seen, so ultimately it does not matter, especially considering it's straight. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to end up pausing the video, but I'm just taking these, merge them over, and do the same thing for the other side. And I'm going to work my way just down it all the way through, and I will see you here in a little bit when I have that done. Okay, I want to make actually a quick little point here. So here I have my Boolean cut. I haven't gone through and actually connected anything up yet, so as you can see I still have to link these verts up. But if you're going through and trying to merge over kind of like that, in this case you will end up having it drag an edge right over top of your Boolean cut. So you're going to want to go ahead and link these up. So if I click here, then click here and press J to join these, and then I bring them all over, we still have that issue, so it's pulling this edge right here. So the one that's linked to this vertice. So if I drag this vert over like that, you can see how it overlaps. So you can add a loop cut here, or you can leave this vertice. You can kind of do whatever. You can merge it over, which is what I'm going to do, and then just continue to merge the rest over, and it'll clean that up. Especially again when you work your way down, you end up with that result right there, where it cleans up quite nicely. But that's just kind of one of those random moot points. But I would always probably want to go through and connect these. So I'm going to join them like that, and you can see it actually fixes the area or the issue in this case. When I join those together, it cleans up that edge just fine, like so. Now I have some cleaned up geometry. I just got to do, actually no, that's decent down there. So anyways, I just want to make a quick little point. So I will see you back here in a minute. Okay, so after a little while of working through it, this is the result that I have come out with, and it's not bad. There's obviously places that can be improved upon, such as here I can actually move these over as well. There's one underneath there. Then I'm going to leave that because I do have a curve going on. And just kind of small things like that. I did induce some minor shading issues that I didn't have before right in this area, but I'm not too worried about that since I already have uglier ones work that I have to deal with anyways. And it's in a spot that's not really going to be noticed. I feel like I can actually take this up a little bit and close off. It seems like it's smooths it out the best like that. That actually looks better, at least to me. But anyways, we went from, let me find the other one, 5,078 triangles for the original, all the way down to 2,690. We reduced it by roughly 78. 2,388 triangles. So out of curiosity, that is, what's it, 5,078? We reduced it by 2.12. So a little over 2 times, or reduced it by about half of the total triangles, and we kept, for the most part, the exact same look visually. Now we can do that for the rest of the parts, so for me, I'm going to say that's okay, and I'm going to go ahead and move that, and say that one's finished. So I can go ahead and hide it. And let's look at, oh, I don't know. The handguard should have very, very little that needs to be done. So I'm just going to quickly do some small things like merging these parts over. And quite frankly, that's trying to see if there's anything else that really catches my eye. A lot of it was done when I was dealing with the Boolean cuts. Over the front. Here as well. So we got a slight issue there. What exactly would be causing this? Okay, I guess that was just a random base or something that I may have missed. Merge the rest of these over, just get rid of the, oops, to get rid of the mirror edge loop. And I'd say that is pretty much all that, well, here, needs to be done. Actually take this over and just get rid of that entirely. Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere else. So that got reduced slightly. So we went from, let's see, 3,530. But we reduced it just ever so slightly. But I'm going to go ahead and move that to the optimized section. Let's go ahead, and the upper is going to be a bit more tricky. I don't know if I want to deal with that right now. For the most part, everywhere that I go to adjust is probably going to make some changes to the shading. Just a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on moving things over. Did I move that to the right spot? Yeah, I did. Okay, now we got, go ahead and hide that. Gonna keep merging over. I'm having a hard time selecting the verts for some odd reason. So that little line there indicates that there is a random vert we can get rid of right there. We actually had two of them in there. Move these over, keep them in line. And I'd say we can just go ahead and drag these all the way up. Hit that guy again. Select those two. Make sure they go to the correct vertice. Like such. I want to keep that loop there. We can do just a small adjustment. I'll leave it. We can move these up. Get this out of the way. And of course, it's a bit of a pain, so let me remove the edge. So this edge is going to have a slight problem. So I can subdivide it and merge it to merge those verts together. We do not need any of this geometry here in the middle. So just going to merge it there. Like so. Get it all kind of out of the way. Looks like we have a loose one. Oh, wait, that's connected to... What are you connected to? Oh, gotcha. Because they're separate parts. I could really go through and merge those, but I'm not going to deal with it at the moment. We have this edge here. That travels all the way up. Yeah, that's actually a separate part, so I'm just going to drag that just down below. Same thing with those. Okay, let's unhide. I've already cleaned up the Boolean cut. You're part of that, so I'm going to move you in a little bit, keep you out of the, make it so it's not visible. This section sucks. And let's see. Make much of a difference? Yeah, so I want to leave that loop there. And that's pretty much it. I'd say for the upper receiver as well. Not really all that much. Some small stuff like that can be done. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much it. So let's move the upper to the optimized section. Go ahead and look at the buffer tube. So I went ahead and linked a couple parts together. The plate, pretty much already done. that can be merged down. So, no need for it. Leaving this loop cut here because I plan to bake some threads in that portion. We do not need all of these, even though it is kind of screwing up the shading. You are not going to be seeing under here because most likely you're going to have a stock on anyways, as well as what are the odds that you're going to actually see directly into the buffer tube or even be focused on it. So the rest of it I would like to leave because odds are we could induce some shading issues, or is it? Nah. Seems like it'll be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable this guy right here, the auto merge. I'm going to take the loop from here, work my way around, all the way to the one on the other side, which is here. I'm going to merge it back. I'm going to press Control. Actually, better, I can just press G and G one more time. Merge all the way back and left click. And now they're merged. No shading issue. G and G. Move it up. Now they're merged, but there is a shading issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect there and there. Double tap G, move up. I can't tell with my eyes if there is one, but now they're merged. And we can kind of do the same thing for back here. So select there and there. You go all the way around first when I control select. Like that. G and G. Move it up. No shading issue. And they're merged. Okay, so we have that. Now we can do the same thing for this section. So pretty much select everywhere that's not going to be affecting the cut and merge it. Move mine to the back. No shading issue, but they're merged. So there's a decent bit of cleanup there. Probably actually do that if we wanted to, but that's gonna there's no edge here, so that'll pretty much take care of that. So I'm gonna move these in. That also helps with the shading a tiny bit. That's already handled. I'll mark you as sharp real quick, just to make sure. Okay, so our buffer tube. We went from 624 for all of this. Wait, no. Yeah, 624 down to 400. So we knocked that down a decent bit. And we can move that into the optimized folder. Now let's look at, I can't think if there's anything really to do on the bulk carrier. It's just a lot of, well, actually, yeah, we can merge a lot of these loops. I'm going to select this loop cut. Move it in. It's going to give me some shading issue. Oh, why are you going over there? Merge those. Merge those. Okay, you're merging to up there for some odd reason. So I'm going to manually do you. Select the ring underneath. Merge in. And same thing. Seems like they're snapping where I do not want them to, so I'll just manually merge them. Gonna create some shading issues. Well, make it slightly worse, better to say. But it's not that big of a deal because it's in an area that we're not going to see anyways, so it doesn't matter at all. I can actually auto merge these. There we go. So it makes no real difference. It just doesn't matter. So this guy here can take the entire loop, the exception of that portion. don't want to move it straight back because I want to keep the shading. So I'll select you to you. Okay, go figure, you select the wrong ones. There we go. Move you forwards. Move you back. Select this entire loop. Merge it back. And that is pretty much it for the bolt carrier. Now we have these random flat sections here. Those can be kind of gotten rid of, like so. That was just used for the flat portion of the bolt. Well, bolt carrier. Oops, not you. So we can cut those out, or merge those out, better yet. All right, so that is nice and cleaned up. Let's go ahead and move you out. Look at the charging handle, where we have a decent bit that can actually be merged out of the way. What I'm going to do is, I'm not too worried. Golly, that looks terrible. I'm going to select pretty much the, let's see, merge to there. Like so. We can take these and merge them back. Now we can get rid of this, hopefully the entire loop, because that's not needed. I never actually beveled that because I don't think that's going to be seen. But I'll be able to do that anyways. Not going to make much of a difference. So I'm going to select from there. Let's see, it goes all the way under. We got to actually clean this bottom portion up as well. So there's a ton we can get rid of here. I'm pretty much just going to take, let's see, I'll just merge them out. Everywhere except for, I think there should do it. Move them over. Clean that up a little bit. We still have some issues. Dissolve that edge. Dissolve that edge. We have a couple here. Dissolve. And just join it. Okay. Clean up this edge here. Same thing. Move it over. So we got to fix that. Might be easier to manually fix, actually. I'm pretty much going to be doing this the entire way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it actually manually. So I will come back when I'm done. Alrighty. So I am, for the most part, done. There's a couple areas that I could get rid of. For example, I want to go ahead and dissolve that edge. That guy, which in turn actually did not do what I wanted it to do, so I'm going to leave it. And I will dissolve that edge instead. So I'm going to leave these here, mostly just because I would probably end up tapering this off a little bit. Oops. That one needs to be resolved real quick. I need to break it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to subdivide this edge. Bring it up, about to there, on the X. Go ahead and join it. And this one goes right back to here, like so. And now that's fixed. So doing this, we went from, let's see, low parts. We went from 832 triangles down to 382. So we cut it down a little over half. So that one is done. Let's move it to the completed portion. And the barrel, honestly, there really shouldn't be anything here that we actually have to do. I kind of plan on just leaving it. So the barrel, we don't have to worry about. I'll move it in. Flash hider. I can't think of anything. I've already went through, cleaned up the Boolean cuts. These little flat portions here, because they're straight, no one's going to see them anyways. Could select this loop here. It's not letting me alt select, and then just scale it down. About there, and now they're connected. So I cleaned up that. And that's going to make me want to scale that in where it matches. Just keep it flat. So we have this edge loop here. Do the exact same thing with. We'll scale that down. Now it's merged. And honestly, that is pretty much all there is to do. And I just realized my mistake when I did that. So that's that outer loop. Never mind. So those are actually going to stay put. So there's nothing to do on the flash hider that I can obviously see because everything kind of has its own purpose. I'll move that down to my section. Pistol grip's not even done. So I'm ultimately not even going to worry about it. So I'm just going to leave it. So I'll move it in here and we will compare. So we are at, again, there can be some improvements here as well. But we have just the lower. Let me unhide all of you. We went from 14,177. Again, we don't have all the parts. We still have the stock and stuff to model the magazine. And those could honestly probably clean up a decent bit as well. That'll probably take off a couple thousand. But we went from 14,177 and we were able to bring that down to 10,821. So we reduced the total triangle count by 3,356, which really isn't a whole lot. But again, we would have a bigger difference with all the parts completed, as well as something more detailed like the stock. But that allowed us to reduce it by 177. 177 divided by that. I did that wrong. What am I doing here? All right. So we were able to reduce it by 23%, which is pretty good. It's not that bad. So that's just a little bit that can be made up elsewhere in detail, but honestly, there's not really a whole lot more, especially whenever the details from the high poly get baked onto the low poly and help smooth some of this stuff out. So it's not too bad. And same thing goes, some of this could be cleaned up a little bit as well. As you can tell, there's some shading issues. It's not done yet, but it is what it is. So I figured I'd walk you through a quick little video on making some optimizations to our mesh, because I have to finish the rest of it out, but I'll have to end up doing this anyways, but that allows me to not have to do it later. So, and I get a video out of it. So anyways, this was just a small portion and kind of a quick cover through. You can obviously, the bigger the mesh, the more detailed, the more you can kind of reduce it to some extent. Like the charging handle, we were able to reduce by over half. The lower receiver, we reduced by over half. And things like the upper receiver and that kind of stuff, they're very small anyways, so there's only 2300 triangles in the upper, 2600 in the lower, and that kind of stuff. So honestly, the rail, we could actually reduce farther. So if I take these and just bring them in, that is reducing the triangle count. But we still have some issues such as overlapping, which can be kind of a pain to deal with. So it would be small changes, kind of like this. Kind of like that, just to help it along, which would make a difference. But it's a very small one, because we're not working with a huge amount of triangles anyways, and with modern hardware and modern techniques for rendering all this stuff out, it's not even going to be noticeable. So there's not really a whole lot of a point anyways. Well, this video has gone on for long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. And hopefully this kind of gave you a rough idea on how you can optimize your mesh to get a little bit of an improvement out of it. So that way you can get a little more detail in there and reduce it down some. Anyhow, I will see you in the next video.